I remember Social Media Club for South Florida. I mean, with Alex DC and Murray doing a lot of education. I joined the board of Social Media Club South Florida back, yeah, back in 2009. I think I did it 2009, 2010. But I really, education is such a key component. I mean, back then we wouldn't. I'm sure when you and Chris started Social Media Club, no one for you to say, "Oh, we're going to share everything that we talk and eat," and people probably looked at you like weird, and then the thought of like doing everything online probably was extremely weirder back in 2005 for you guys starting out. But I just remember all the education that was provided, and and here we are today. If you mention the word social media, and if you're not doing it for your business, you are so way behind. And so now going into Web3, talking about the blockchain and talking about the DAO and all this stuff, have you guys set up a educational curriculum after your Web 3.1 conference, or what are
Yeah.
your?
So first, yes, that's the intent. What we're actually working on is, and we're in discussions of, should we have a DAO? It's like, to DAO or not to DAO. But first, what we're trying to do with the Web3 conference, just to kind of give people a little information about that, is it's taking place on February 28th and March 1st. So it's coming up quick. We've got 2 weeks out. But the idea is, and this is, we're doing what we did with social media back in the day. And to your point, like when we first started, we had the benefit that we were based in Silicon Valley, where a lot of these conversations were taking place. They were all offline, right? So people were coming together at these web events and really learning from one another too. And we just saw an opportunity to extend that, and luckily had some friends in different cities that wanted to kind of help collaborate and build on this and share these lessons we were learning quickly back in 2005, 2006. But the whole point of that was finding the people that were early, finding the people that were willing to have these conversations, to share what they were learning, to help others, learn as well. And so we're doing that now with Web3. Is we're trying to find the folks that are already building projects, that are already invested in these solutions, and pulling them together at the Web3 conference to kind of start sharing those insights, right? Like, what are they learning? What's worked well? What are the things people have to be mindful of? And, the hope is that this is the start of, an educational series where people can have a resource they can come to. There's a lot of content available about Web3 already. I mean, if you just, even on Twitter alone, use the hashtag Web3, you'll drown in data. And so our hope is that we can try to curate the best of the best, like who are really great educators, even if they never call themselves an educator, but they're sharing what they're learning, they're building things live and in the open. And can we just use their resources and direct people to them? Because we don't need to recreate a whole bunch of content. We just need to point people in the right direction and say, we know this is a trusted source for you to go and learn about NFTs. If you're really curious about podcasting on the blockchain, Jennifer is your person to go check out, right? I think that there's an opportunity to curate those resources, bring people together on a regular basis, and really start building that out into a community of educators, influencers, and advocates, and then continue to spread that out. And it's the same format we did with Social Media Club. And I have no idea if this will be successful or not. We have no expectations for where this is going to go. We just feel passionate about starting those conversations now, because I'm personally overwhelmed. There's just too much to learn at any one time. And so, like, for me, I'm just like, I just want to learn more, everything I can learn about NFTs. And that's all I'm going to focus on over the next month. Right. But then it's like, okay, once you do that, what's next? And so the hope with the Web3 conference is that we start these conversations, we start people coming together, we start them sharing what they're doing, what they're working on, and who they're being influenced by, and then that continues to grow out. And the great, we're trying to make this where everybody can participate. It's an ethos that we believe strongly in, that you should be able to participate whether or not you can pay to do so. And so we've split the conference up into two sections, where one is a leadership summit, where there's going to be pre-planned sections and sessions of people coming and sharing everything from, building on the blockchain, what open standards really means, do we really need Web3? And then on March 1st, we're actually going to have an unconference, which it's, I don't know how many people are familiar with an unconference, but it's pretty much an open space. You don't really set the topics in advance. You show up the morning of the event and you say, I really want to know about the metaverse. Who else can talk about the metaverse? And everybody kind of raises their hands and you go off in a room and you talk about the metaverse. And so we're going to build that day up and it's free to attend. So we're hoping that everybody will just go to web31.xyz and sign up specifically for the conference, because I think that's where a lot of the magic is going to happen. That's where a lot of people who are going to be able to come together about a shared passion or topic, start, discussing what they're working on, the questions they have, what they don't get, where they feel changes need to happen. And hopefully that'll start the seeds of a really lovely collaboration in that space and connect people who may not have been connected before.
Yeah, I actually pinned some tweets up on the nest if you would like to check it out, everybody. Because so I pinned, and also the speakers. You have incredible speakers too for this event.
Yeah, I mean, we're blessed. Like I said, we are working. So Chris and I are working with our dear friend Tina Wee, who launched Follow the Coin magazine. I think she did like 7, 8, 9 years ago. I mean, she's been in the crypto space a very long time. She has very deep connections in, especially the Web3. And between her network and ours, we've brought together. I'm gonna say I'm really proud of the diversity of the topics and the diversity of the speakers. We have people talking about, IP and NFTs. We have people talking about DAOs. We have people talking about decentralized finance. Privacy and identity is going to be a big one too. There's a lot of concerns of when everything goes on the blockchain, everything is visible, and so, you know, there's there's a need for anonymity on the web, and so there's some concerns about what does that really mean if everything I do is available on the chain. What does that mean for my privacy and identity? And so I'm really looking forward to those. We've got like Bram Cohen too, who's going to come in and talk about his Chia project. About we should be able to. This should be more green, right? Web3 is a lot of energy suck with regards to it. Can be, you hear a lot of people talking about Bitcoin mining and these projects and what they do eventually to the climate or the environment. And so we want to say, how can we build these tools and have it not be as negatively impactful on Mother Earth? So there's going to be some of those tracks too. So, and there's a little bit of tech, there's a little bit of community, and there's a big space for creators to come and just see what they can do as well. If I've been an artist, for 10 years and I'm not as successful as I'd like to be selling my creations on the web, there's a lot of opportunities now that the Web3 tools are making available. And so we're like, how do you do that? Let's make sure you have a path, and hopefully you can, fund your retirement in that respect. So yeah, I'm, and then we have some general just leadership tracks. Like, what does it take to lead into these companies, into the Web3 or into the metaverse? What does that look like inside your organization? And so we try to bring a little corporate in with all the tech, because I think you have to, again, have a balance and make sure that you're thinking about this holistically and across the entire organization, not just singularly into one area.
I'm really excited about Brian Solis being there.
Yeah,
I love hearing him. He's an incredible speaker. If
he
anybody ever gets
is.
a chance to hear him.
He is. He's a dear friend. And so he's going to come in and talk about like the future of Web3, what this kind of means at a high level of, again, what do you need to be asking? Do you need to learn about these techs? And if you do, which do you need to learn about? Because again, don't try to learn about it all. It's too much. It's sensory overload. Again, I recommend focusing on one. If you just want to take the blockchain, like, why is the blockchain super important? Or is it NFTs, or do you just need to learn about crypto and what this actually means? Decentralized finance, you're going to hear a lot about that. And so, like, is crypto ever going to overtake the dollar? I think that these are big, interesting conversations that we can have, and, just hopefully help people get a better understanding of it and ask the better questions over time.